One thing that's interesting, and I definitely can relate to this, is that being pulled in so many directions. Um, and I think Craig was getting to this point that it's easy to lose sight of the dream, right? So you're all here because this is super important to you, right? And um, I think at this point in any semester, it's time to reconnect with that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, when Sam invited me to do this, Sam gave me a long list of different things that might be of interest. And the first time I looked at it, I thought, oh my gosh, this is like 5 social work council meetings if I cover all these things. And then I looked at it again at the beginning of this week to prepare for tonight, and I thought, it's really just one thing. It really is, what do we do to keep you inspired and connected to where you want to go? I think now, might be a good time to open the floor and just hear what you're feeling, what's in the way of that connection. Maybe something happened this week that helped you reconnect. I really want to hear from you.
So, and this might inspire all of you out here, because it's the time in the semester where we're all thinking about the assignments that are due, how many of them we have to do. Okay, I need to get this on that to make this, and this is going to be my GPA and my grades and all the things. Like, it's so easy to get caught up in the minutia of academia, and we lose sight of stuff right here, these big why social work things. And so I'm going to read from this book, A Way of Being, by Dr. Carl Rogers. Carl Rogers is an influence that is near and dear to both me and Regina. And this is an important thing. And this is the reason that Regina and I are here tonight. This is the reason I do things different in the classes I teach, the reason that Regina does things different in the classes she teaches, the reason that she advocates for change in our programs, etc. So this is about empathy. Brilliance and diagnostic perceptiveness are unrelated to empathy. Now remember, this is founded on this idea from Rogers that empathy is the key element to change in working with anybody. It's what establishes the relationship that will foster the development of every person that you come in contact with. So brilliance and diagnostic perceptiveness are unrelated to empathy. It is important to know that the degree to which therapists create an empathic climate is not related to their academic performance or intellectual competence. Neither is it related to the accuracy of their perception of individuals or their diagnostic competence. In fact, it may be negatively related to these things. So what he's saying here is that there are all these book learnings and papers and all this stuff that we can do, and yet it is not the most critical thing to nurture the most critical aspect of our work, and its connection with other people and the development of the relationships that we're going to have to support change. So all that to be said is, okay, we're in that point in the semester where if we're focused on all the papers we have to do, all the grades we have to get, it can be really challenging. But if we're focused differently on how I can grow as a social worker, how I can grow in my understanding of what the needs of the people and the problems that I want to serve and how I can do that, then this can be an exciting time. This could be a rejuvenation moment that gets you back into the semester and says, okay, yeah, I'm glad I'm here and I'm doing this thing. So that's my spiel on empathy.
I was just going to add to that and say that I'm a big advocate for finding ways to create positive change in our lives, especially when we can do it on the shoulders of the more negative challenges and moments that we come across in our lives. One good example of this that I'm actually dealing with personally right now is I recently found out that I had to buy a graduation gown, and that it was going to have to be from a specific vendor, and the on sale price is $150. That's the on sale price when I'm in a situation personally where I'm struggling to financially pay my rent and take care of other necessities. Um, and what I took from that is, well, yeah, there is this specially approved UTA gown I have to purchase to be able to participate in commencement for my loved ones, those who have stood by me all this time and want to see me walk. And so I'm going to do it. But the positive change I pulled out of that is that I decided, well, wait a minute, maybe there is something positive I can take out of this. Maybe I can do something. And what I decided to do was for myself was to work with others to try to create a program where we can pass on our graduation gowns
Yes.
to those of our peers who are going to be in similar situations where they're going to wear that gown and be one and done with it, and then they're never gonna look at it again. They're never gonna use it again. It's gonna sit in a closet, maybe in a bag somewhere, and just kind of be the sad moment of an otherwise positive event. And I hope all of you will find these little moments of inspiration where you can do positive things and turn some of these negative moments into something that makes you feel better, makes people in your lives feel better, helps somebody else.
So I wanna jump on that and charge the entire social work council here right now. I want to charge you with make this part of the legacy, right? You may not know this, but in the new building there is going to be a room set aside for social work organizations for you to have all the technology, all the things you need for the meetings, and you could have a special space where you store these gowns. And each of you, if you choose, can leave your gown there for the next person, and you could even write them an inspiring note. You know, here's something I found that was really important, or I really hope that as you wear this, you feel everything I felt, whatever it is. But I mean, how amazing would it be for you to think, gosh, maybe even it was someone you knew, and I get to wear this, and I get to tell my family maybe a little bit about this person did this really cool thing for me, and I'm going to leave a note for the next person. And even though you may not know each other, that's one of the ways we stay connected, right? And we're missing that right now. I know y'all are feeling that. We're missing the connection. And that's it's such a beautiful, I have chills thinking about what that could be like as you move forward.
Regina, who can we contact if there are students who'd like to participate in donating their gown?
Um, Me.
Okay.
um, we can run it kind of like we like social work council when they run the sock drives or their different things where you kind of put out a flyer and we can say we can actually put it on social media, and we may have alums who may want to come back. Craig, you might have a gown. Yeah. Um, but we could actually just leave a note, hey, if you'd like to donate your gown for students to use in the future, we can leave it at the welcome center that we have at the School of Social Work right now. So we can we can fix that with a little flyer in the newsletter that we would also post on social media. So hopefully on social media our alums would bring gowns in for this graduating class, and then through the newsletter, maybe this graduating class would decide to leave their gowns for someone else. So at graduation, we could just make sure, if someone from social work council could help me, we could make sure we have a box for people to leave their gown, or they could drop it off later if they still need to do photos, because you might want to go back home with the gown, bring it later. But we can make it happen easy.
I'm absolutely certain that those of us at the Social Work Council would be glad to help out.
I do want to hear from y'all though. What are you feeling? As you hear that, as you think about your connection, how do we help you get back to the dream? How do we help you reconnect? Because it's as Rogers, what I hear when I hear that passage from Rogers, what I hear is that it's not your grades that are going to make you a great helper. It's not. It's this. And I think oftentimes the pressures in the classroom and in school, coupled with all the other amazing roles you take on, gets in the way of you staying connected to this. So, this is kind of your time. Let's talk about it. Let's reinvigorate you if we can. But that's not my job or Craig's. We got to do this together. Okay, Allison, you're going to make the flyer. I deem you flyer person.
I will have it done by this week.
Awesome. So, what are some other things we can do to inspire each other? The gown thing's amazing.
I think reminding people and kind of validating that they're doing a good job is really important, because I know myself, I'm like my worst enemy when it comes to being critical of my work. And I'm sure other people are too.
I have seen that across the board with social work students.
Yes, you're certainly not alone, Allison. I know that my inner critic can be really loud at times for me.
Yes, totally. It can just be screaming, and that voice is the loudest voice in the room.
Does anyone have anything they do when that voice is deafening to quiet it?
I personally, well, if it's like for like writing for schoolwork, I'll have my mom or stepdad review like my paper and kind of validate that I'm doing good, or go through with a red pen and find all my passive voice and grammar issues and validate that voice in my head, but at least I know I'm getting a honest opinion.
I would say for me that since being in grad school, I've had help from family members, especially my dad, because he has his master's also, and he wants me to succeed well on my papers. So going to him for help is always a big success. And even reaching out to previous classmates or some of his coworkers that are social workers in the school system, they have been help with me throughout this whole program.
Wonderful. I love this theme of asking for help. I will not speak for anyone except for myself and say that I'm 44 years old and I still have trouble asking for help. So helpers need help. Keep asking. There's some great things in the chat that I would like to share with everyone in case sometimes we can't see the chat well on our devices. So keeping awards on the bookshelf so you see them right when you wake up. I actually have a motivation wall for when I wake up with things that remind me of exactly this word cloud of why I do what I do. Writing poems to vent in your notes app. That's wonderful. Listening to music, working out, screenshots of kind words, and hold on to the notes like they're made of gold. I love it. Take a walk outdoors, fresh air, sunshine, mini breaks, visiting the dog. Yeah, my dog knows when I need him. He'll like come. He knows when I'm like, ooh. I'm taking walks with daughter on lunch breaks. Yes. So the theme of connection, right? Of coming back to something that kind of either brings me back to my inspiration or helps me take a break from the thing, whatever it is. Because sometimes even the most inspiring things we need a break from. You can't be a social worker 24/7. That's what Bruce was getting at.
For myself,
Liz?
finding some of these micro communities that exist within my classes has been a huge help. It's become kind of the norm for most of my classes that my peers have been setting up GroupMes. I don't know if you're all familiar with GroupMe, but if you have a class, if you're in any kind of class right now, odds are your peers have set up a GroupMe to basically share their experiences and share their pain, and that's really a big part of it. I think part of surviving is about knowing that there are other people experiencing some of that shared pain and going through what you are, and plus it helps keep me on top of things, especially when I have worse days and I forget something really important.